Welcome to Baby Boy Mulligan's Guitars, Mods, and Music. Today, we're going to be going over a new guitar build. And that guitar build is a Jakey Lee style Strat. Not exactly, but pretty close. It's got some new things they didn't have back when Jake got that guitar for the Ozzy Osbourne stuff. This one is white and black. It looks a lot like it. So, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let's get over to the workbench and start working on her. Okay, so I did show this in my breaking news video about guitar builds, but here's a close look at it. Try to get that light off of there. So you've got toggle switches for each pickup. Regular humbucker, dual rail, dual rail. So we can get 3 singles, or we can get a dual rail, or a single with the humbucker. Or we can get a single single or a double single. Then we can do that at every single one. Positions 1, 3, and 5. Get a single or a humbucker. But here we can do a full middle, a full neck, or a single and a full middle, or a single and a full neck. So there's a lot of options here. And we've got a kill switch. And this is a really good quality one. This is a Safu pickguard, which I did show in my gear haul video. So you want to check those out. You can get a good look. Oh, but let me show you some more. I did already put the string trees and the BBM logo on there. We're going to install some lock and tuners today. And maybe we'll get to hooking this up. This is a perfect fit. Slips right in there. And I've got all the holes drilled. Now, the one thing that I did have to do to this guitar, and this is an idea for you when you're working on your guitars. So, right here is where that hole had to be. I filled this one. That's where that hole had to be to screw in the pickguard in the corner of the potentiometer, the tone knob. So I took a dowel and I screwed the dowel in. Probably this would be a better look. You notice the 2 screws in here, I screwed it into the body. Now, then what I did is I took my router, or my Dremel, and routed this edge so it's flat up to the point where the potentiometer fits in here without hitting this, because it was hitting this and I knew it was going to. So then I just filed that edge down. And she screws right in. And it screws right in, it fits right in. Bam. No problem. So, we're going to set this aside. I will reset the camera and we will work on putting on the tuners. One last thing. When you do this piece, you want to make sure that you drill holes, and you want to drill them on an angle so that you can get your screw gun in there, because you're going to need to have some pressure to get those in quick. So drill holes in those to match your screws. All right. So these are parts that I saved when I took the tuners out of this guitar, because these are kind of recessed a little, made some marks. So I wanted to use the same ones so that I don't have, any kind of ring showing. So these are the right ferrules for these. What have we got going on here? Do I have a mismatched tuner? There's something funky with this tuner I've just found. I think that the top edge, the diameter, is slightly bigger. So I am going to try just a little. Isn't that something? Okay, so we're going to play with that one at the end. First time I ever had that happen. I normally do this with a 10mm socket, but I forgot to grab my socket when I started the camera, so we're doing this the hard way. And these are the ferrules that came with this set of tuners. That's crazy. And these are metal ore, and I've never had any problems with metal ore tuners before. What am I doing? Missed one. That one we may need to file down a little bit. Or I might need to see if I got another ferrule that'll fit it. So we'll do that off camera, though. We're not going to mess you guys up having to watch all that. There's another one that was fairly tight. I wonder, let's see. See if we can play with this a minute and get it to work. Nope, I think we're going to have to take a file to the edge of that. But that's why we have files. It's just the edge, so we're not going to mark it up or anything. It just needs a little bit. see if that did it. Almost. It's a little more. That edge wasn't filed right. Something wasn't machined properly. And that can happen, especially when you're quality testing them. You might test one out of how many. This is the one that got away. Okay. That one's going to work. It's just going to be a pain in the butt, but it'll work. I keep hitting the camera with my hat. There we go. Sometimes you just got to be a little forceful. Wrench, just a little tight so I can move them around and line up the holes in the back. Don't want them too tight. Want them snug though. There we go. All right. Flip this over. Finish this up. And these do always, almost always, line right up. That's why I use them. And I use the Music Lilies and I use Sappho. My favorites of the bunch really are the Music Lilies because they're so smooth, such really good tuners. They're all good. But the Music Lilies I like the best. But I get a better deal on these a lot of times. Like $22 versus $27, $5 on a couple sets makes up another set. Same thing goes for the Sappho. It's just like kind of whatever the pricing is, because like right here I got another set of Sapphos. These were like 22, 23, and at times they're 27. So I just use whatever I can get the deal on out of the ones that I know that are good. I will be right back and we'll start these screws. All right, I always like to have a couple of screwdrivers out because sometimes one doesn't fit as good as the other, and I can't remember which one I used on these. So I always try this one first. That's my favorite. And I think that one's going to be the one that'll work. Yep. And I'm not tightening these all the way because I've got to tighten the other side up first. Make sure these are lined up good too. Because I'm working at an angle for you to see what I'm doing. Not for me to see if they're lined up good, because I can adjust these a little bit once I tighten them in the front. Make sure they're all lined up good. That one's a little off. All right, so let's get my handy dandy trusty screwdriver, because that always helps me line them up. So they're all lined up. They're pretty close. Okay, that guy's got to go back a little. So we'll tighten him up first. That's got to come this way a little, so we'll hold pressure on it and tighten it up. Yeah, good and snug. I just like to hold these so I make sure they don't turn. Let's go this way. Turn that back. Sorry about the noise if you hear the neighbor's dog and the neighbor talking. They're out in the hallway. Okay. They're in there good and tight. They're not going to move. All right, so I'm going to move the camera over instead of shutting this down. So bear with me for a second. So in our body cavity, I did also have to, you can see the discoloration in the paint. It's not perfect. But I also had to route out a little here for the kill switch. And then I painted that. So it's a little wet right there. So we'll let that dry. In the next video, we'll do the install of the pickguard. Thanks for watching Baby Boy Mulligan's Guitars, Mods, and Music. One last thing that I did do is I turned the guitar back over and tightened those screws again just to make sure that they were all snug. And the next video, we'll go ahead and we'll install that pickguard. We'll solder everything up. We'll get the guitar fretboard cleaned up, do the files on the edges. Just need a little file on the edge. And we'll get this guitar together and playing. So, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching again. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Hey, for those of you that kept watching, sneak peek. This is going to be for the Veterans Guitar Giveaway. I'm going to take the pick guard off. I'm going to replace the tuners. We're going to do all the same kind of stuff. And I've got pickups for it. I got 2 different pick guards. So there's going to be a video where I'm going to ask you which pick guard we should go with. And then I'll need your comments to help me out. Whichever one I don't use, I'm going to save for another bit. Here's a quick look. Blue to black burst. I'm Tim, Baby Boy Mulligan's Guitars, Mods, and Music. Thanks for watching.